this is Linda G. Robert, your solution lady, your coach, and your teacher, with another tip. You know, in the last video, I talked about mindfulness and the benefits of mindfulness, especially if you're online all the time, getting some work done. So I recommended mindfulness in between clients so that you can get a little bit more energy. So I'm going to continue on along that vein as well. In terms of mindfulness, something happened recently where I've had to practice mindfulness again. It seems like it's useful for many different situations. So here's what's going on. I'm in the process of selling my house, and the buyers had about a week or so to remove they had about a week or so to remove their conditions. So they finally booked the inspection of the septic tank and the inspections of the house, and that happened yesterday. But last night I got a call from my real estate agent saying that there were concerns, and he's explaining to me what these concerns are. And of course, as I'm listening to this, I feel a sensation in my chest area and stomach area, and it wasn't a very comfortable sensation. And so after I hung up, I was extremely disappointed, and I was really, really discouraged, and parts of me were also very pissed. And of course, those sensations lasted for several minutes, because I started thinking of, well, what if it doesn't sell, and what if now I started packing and giving stuff up away, because I already started giving things away and selling things. So now it's like, what if they don't even move forward with purchasing the house? So I started thinking of all of these things, of course, because I do truly want to sell my house so I can be closer to my children. But these things are actually out of my control. All of this is out of my control. And the concerns they had about the house, most of them are things that I can't really do anything about at this point, at this moment. And some of them were things that, you know, had been incurred with the previous owner. There are things that there's not a lot I'll be able to do. And so I had to really get to that point of accepting the fact that there's not a lot I can do about this. But I also had to do some mindfulness. I had to do another mindfulness practice. So what I did was I laid down and I listened to some of my favorite audios that I use. Again, just to kind of bring a little bit of peace of mind. And I did that for about half an hour. I practiced a mindfulness practice for about half an hour. And at the end, you know, I felt better. Now, it doesn't always work that way, okay? It doesn't work that quickly sometimes. And it doesn't, just because I've been practicing for a few years now, doesn't mean it's going to work, you know, every time. But I know for sure that when I practice mindfulness, when I continue to practice mindfulness, I feel different. I feel better about the situation. It helps me to gain a bit of peace of mind. It helps me to gain a bit of a sense of control over the situation. And I know that, like, later I'll be doing a little bit more mindfulness now again as well, because it's helpful to me. So, you know, I've been doing it for about half an hour. It doesn't have to be that long. The other day in my other video, we did it for about a couple of minutes. So it doesn't take a long time to just start feeling back to, you know, a sense of balance. So I'm going to suggest that even if you have difficult times and you think, I can't take the time to do mindfulness right now. Are you kidding me? Things are going bad. My house isn't going to sell. And on and on and on. I'm still going to suggest that you try it. Not maybe for half an hour, but that you try it just for a few minutes like we did in the other video. So why don't we do that now? I'm going to find my timer and I'm going to set it up for a couple of minutes, 2 minutes. There. Just give me a second, trying to get my timer. I really like this timer. It's called e-timer. Just a second there for 2 minutes. It's called Insight Timer, I should say. And you could, there's a lot of different meditations, and I'm not doing this to sell the app or anything like that. I just find it really beneficial because you could listen to a meditation, but you could also set a timer for a minute or 2 minutes. So this one's set for 2 minutes, and I'm going to start it right now. I do invite you to close your eyes. And to simply breathe. You may choose to pay attention to your breath as it goes in through your nostrils. And as it goes out, either through your mouth or through your nostrils, just paying attention. And if you have some of those really awful thoughts, let them float away and focus again on your anchor, the breath. You'll notice that your breathing pattern might be different today than it was a few days ago, or that it was the last breath. It happens. Just be aware. Just notice. What is this breath like? And this one, what is this one like? Stay with me. Keep breathing. There, that's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. So, even when you have some really bad news, some discouraging news, things will happen, right? We don't always have good moments. Right? We don't always have good moments. We're busy, we sometimes hear bad news, and then we get caught up with that bad news. So choose to stop and take a breath. Take a few minutes of breathing, maybe even 5-10 minutes, and you'll notice that you'll feel a lot calmer. The issue is still going to be there, right? My house inspection will still happen. I don't know the results of it yet, but I'm feeling better. I'm feeling prepared to accept whatever happens. These are skillful habits to choose to accept it in a certain way. So when we take some mindfulness practices, it allows us to take a moment, just a moment, to think of possible different responses. Now, when we are in the process of mindfulness practicing, we might not be thinking of those responses because that would not be mindful of us. We want to be in the moment, unless your intention was to close your eyes and to think of possible solutions or to allow those possible solutions to come through. That could be considered being mindful. So you can use mindfulness in different ways. I've used it recently for eating, mindful eating. So when I'm mindfully eating, I'm chewing every bite. I'm also smelling my food to get the senses going, to smell the food. I'm chewing it very slowly to start noticing the different sensations that the food brings in my mouth, in my tongue, and so on. Now, I don't eat like that all the time, right? But every now and then, what an experience. Imagine going to a restaurant and not tasting your food and appreciating what you're eating. I have a tendency of smelling my food, or smelling a drink, smelling the coffee. It's something that I've been doing over the last few years. I don't know why, but it does bring some joy to me. So when you actually smell the food, it gets you primed up to enjoy your meal and not to just gulp it down and so on. So take some mindful eating practices as well. All right, this is Linda G. Robert, your solution lady, your coach and your teacher, hoping that you practice a bit more mindfulness today. If you want more information on my services, please go to my website, www.lindagrobert.com. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channels and send me an email as well at linda@lindagrobert.com. All right, bye-bye for now.